Hello, friends! This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with music I just didn't get until I heard the version by Humph. We'll get to Humph in a second, but the music I just didn't get was Bruckner's Fifth Symphony. This is the most Bruckner-y of all of Bruckner's symphonies, the one that nobody else could have even remotely conceived of. It's big, it's long, it's crazy, nothing happens until the last 5 minutes, and it's a good 75 minutes long, 80 minutes in some performances. Whoa, baby, it's difficult. Now, the first time I heard Bruckner's Fifth was actually very, very funny, and I've told this story before. When I was a kid, I used to go get my used LPs, get LPs at Goodwill in Milford, which in those days was downtown next to the firehouse. Now it's out on the post road, and it's become a whole like mega thing. But in those days, it was just a big empty space full of stuff. And in the back, all the way in the back, were LPs, and they were 10 cents each. And how this stuff got to Milford, I don't really know. I don't know how any of these things. In fact, I have strange things happen in Milford. I mean, the other day, my mother and I were shopping at Adams, a supermarket in Woodmont, and I was recognized by a couple of fans. I mean, the idea that I would be recognized in Adams supermarket in Woodmont in Milford, Connecticut was. It was mind-blowing. Hi, guys, if you're watching. It was nice meeting you. Really, really unbelievable. Sometimes I guess it's going to happen now. The other day I ran into Morgan. Hi, Morgan. When I was getting on the Amtrak train at Penn Station to come back from work in the city. And I got out of my car, and there was Morgan. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's lovely. I love meeting all of you. It's so much fun. It really is. But anyway, here's the thing. I'm getting confused. No, I was at Goodwill, and I saw this beautiful album. It was this double album with a wooden thing down the spine, like a dowel, and it opened up a gatefold, and it was Bruckner's Fifth Symphony, conducted by Gerhard Pfluger, who I had never heard of, playing along with some German orchestra, and it had at the beginning this, "I have dedicated my life to Bruckner." And there was a big, long analysis with musical examples of the piece, and it cost 10 cents. So I said, wow, baby, I got to hear this. And I had my little Close and Play LP record. I think it was a mono, kids record player back in those days. It actually had a record changer attached to it, but, it sort of folded up. It was plastic, and you could carry it around and plug it in wherever you wanted. So that was my first Bruckner Fifth, and I put it on, and it was 80 minutes. It was 4 sides, 2 LPs, and it was just the strangest piece of music I ever heard. I came away not knowing if I liked it or not. I really had no clue, but I did have da 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 ya da da ba da stuck in my head ever since. I mean, it was permanently wedged in there. I couldn't get it out. There was no way that was coming out. I mean, every place I went, I heard ya do 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 ba da like that. So I knew the work. I was of it anyway. I mean, I knew bits of it, and I knew its principal idea like the back of my hand. And I had to have been, I don't know what I was, 10, 11. I mean, little kid. I was just biking around and finding LPs. I also got the complete Dvorak symphonies, the early ones with Talich and Shana and all those guys from Goodwill on Urania. Or Ultrafon or Suprafon early. What those were doing in Milford, I have no clue. But boy, they had some stuff. So anyway, so I had the Gerhard Pfluger Bruckner Fifth, and there it lay until I got a little older, and I heard the Seventh with Rosebud, and then the Fourth, and a bunch of other versions of the other symphonies, and I began to really enjoy them and think I understood them. But the Fifth, well, it sort of. I let it pass for a while. Then eventually I started collecting the Karajan Bruckner cycle because, well, it was Karajan and it was Bruckner and it was classy and it had those white alabaster wings with snow on them. A friend of mine, an English teacher of mine, actually said when he saw one, he said it looks like an animal that flew into a car in the middle of winter, and his wing was like it was dead. Anyway, I had the carillon, so I got the carillon Bruckner Fifth, and I hated it. I mean, I thought it was the dullest thing I'd ever heard in my life. It was heavy, it was slow, and the end, that chorale at the end, it was just this compacted lump of sonority that made no impression on me at all. I was really sort of at odds with the interpretation. And I didn't have Gerhard Pfluger anymore because that was when I was 10, and it fell apart eventually, being played on my, fabulous close and play LP player with the quarter taped to the tone arm to keep it from sticking. Eventually the grooves were just polished clean. So I was sort of at a loss as to what to do with Bruckner's Fifth until I heard this one. Sawallisch! We've talked about this performance too, but I just cannot praise it enough, with the Bavarian State Orchestra on Orfeo. This is the original Orfeo CD with like Qualiton sticker attached to it. I had probably had it on LP at one point too. I don't even remember. But I got it and I played it, and it just blew my mind. What was it that blew my mind about this performance? Well, first, the pacing. The pacing was fabulous. I mean, the Adagio, just under 17 minutes, not like 20 minutes. Or Carillon and Schulte, they drag these things out. It had flow. The first movement was exciting, but it breathed. Everything just had this sort of naturalness of phrasing. The scherzo was fabulous because Sawallisch was able to alter the tempo, going from the quick tempos to the slow tempos and the transitions. They're so well managed, and they were exciting, really exciting. And then the finale with the fugue from hell that goes on forever and ever and ever for 25 minutes and 12 seconds. The thing that really got me about it wasn't just that he gave it time to breathe and you could actually hear all the contrapuntal interweaving and all that. It was that when we finally got to the chorale at the end, the brass textures were differentiated. That is, you heard the horns, you heard the trumpets, you heard the trombones, and they didn't all clog together. They had rhythm. The trombones were going bump, bump, da, da, dum, bum, like that. And the trumpets were really, surmounting the entire orchestra. They didn't sound like they pooped out before the end. And it made all the difference in the world. It was such a satisfying and brilliant apotheosis. It was wonderful. It was very naturally recorded in an ample acoustic. It just seemed ideal for what this symphony was trying to express. And after that, I had enough of a sense of the piece, a feeling for what it was about and how it wanted to go, that I could listen to other versions and enjoy the ones that I thought were good and not like the ones that I thought were not so good. It gave me the shape of the work, the feeling for the work. And that's what you want, I think, in a recording that is sort of your breakthrough in a piece that's been difficult, that's been a barrier. So there it is. After that, I was home sailing smoothly, wonderfully with Bruckner's Fifth. And I was able to appreciate it for the truly eccentric masterpiece that it is. What a fascinating piece of music. Totally crazy thing by a very, very odd person who had a real transcendental vision that he was trying to express. And Sawallisch gets it, as do a few others. But it's still a very difficult symphony to do well, a tough piece to pull off. Yeah, there you go. That's what did it for me. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.